It's good morning to you. You're waking up on the Brightside with Carol, Lavinia and Shehzad. Joined in the studio this morning by a very special guest.
Yeah, today we have Alvin Ong. He's joining us here in the studio to talk about how he chased a new dream at the very youthful age of 32. He's a communication systems expert at the Republic of Singapore Navy, but he found himself kind of drawn to the construction industry with growing aspirations to start his own company that's specializing in system integration projects. He decided to live life to the fullest and pursue his dreams by applying to NP. Welcome to the show, Alvin.
Thanks, Shehzad. Carol, Lavinia. Good to be here.
Welcome. So tell us, Alvin, how did this mid-career shift come about, and when did you realize this was your new dream?
At the time, I was like in my 5th year in the Navy, and a colleague and a friend I knew quite close, he kind of passed away very abruptly. It was on the news, and that's when I started thinking, maybe this isn't the life I want. When I saw myself 20 years down the line, there was a feeling that I would regret if I continued on my course, because it wasn't something that I wanted to stick to.
Okay.
Yeah.
That must have been a very confronting situation for you in a very difficult time.
Yeah.
So sorry you had to go through that, Alvin.
Yeah, I think this kind of thing, everyone will go through it at some point in their life, but maybe not at such a young age. Yeah.
It must have been tough to actually sit down and make some real big decisions at that time.
How old were you? Sorry, very quickly when that happened.
It was around 2017, so I was probably 25.
25, wow.
26,
okay.
Yeah. What were some of the doubts or challenges you faced when, you decided, okay, this is what I got to do?
One of them being, Singapore being, it's quite difficult to, get a good career or a job without at least a degree or a diploma. So I knew if I wanted to go into another field, I would have to kind of recertify myself again. Then it became a daunting process of thinking, am I academically inclined enough to directly go to uni? Or do I have to, take a step back and get a diploma first? So I decided to play it safe and get a diploma first. Yeah.
I feel like that's something that's quite unique to Singapore.
Yes.
There's so much pressure on getting your paper qualifications and all that. So what were some of the, other things that you had to deal with as well in doing that mid-career switch?
I'm going through my plans with people I'm close to, and just not just about discussing what kind of career or what other field do I want to go in. It's like, whether can I support myself if I do decide to do a mid-career change, because I would definitely be starting full-time. Because prior to this, I did try to do a part-time degree, but it didn't turn out so well because juggling work and studies is very difficult. Yeah. And when it came time to pick, to prioritize on, I chose work at that period of time. So I decided, if I'm really going to do this, I've got to commit fully. I've got to,
quit
my job. Yeah.
Wow, those are really big decisions.
Yeah, they
you
are.
You have such courage to step forward and do it.
Yeah.
Commit to commitment.
Commit to commitment.
That's something I learned recently, because that too can be very difficult, committing to commitment. Yes. All right, we'll be back with more of Alvin in just a little while. Meanwhile, you can join us on Facebook Live at facebook.com/1FM91.3 for this discussion on how you go about, navigating, pardon the pun, a midlife change or career switch. Join us there.
Good morning, boys and girls.
Good morning, man.
Good morning. Good morning.
The Brightside with Carol, Lavinia, and Shehzad on 1FM 91.3.
Well, sometimes I go out by myself and I look across the water and I think of all the things what you're doing.
Okay, good morning. Welcome everyone on Facebook Live. Thank you so much for joining us. Hey, what was life like? How did you even end up going into the Navy actually?
Oh, okay. So at the time, my parents were working as hawkers or at a food court that they rented out somewhere near Vivo City. But they tore down the building to renovate it. So for that period of time, like after I graduated, they didn't have a job. So being an only child, I think most only childs think to like, oh, I'm going to be the breadwinner now, you know, because that opportunity came when I went into NS and they were offering me a 5-year contract at the time, and I thought that was quite stable and I could take care of my parents if I did that.
And I guess because it was right next to the sea, right? Vivo City, that's why you joined the Navy.
Oh,
Yeah,
maybe,
indeed.
maybe.
Indeed.
I just put that
Subconsciously.
together. I just came up with that.
You are so sharp, you.
So, you know, were there experiences or lessons that you took from your former career to help you kind of navigate your way through pursuing your new drawn career in system integration research projects?
From my old job, I'd say I take away is like how do I interact with other people? How do I carry myself? I'm not sure if, cause like in the Navy, or at least I think most government jobs would be like that. People would tend to be quite direct. Yeah, so like me going into poly, and after this 4 years, it feels like I'm just like readjusting back to civilian life. So I've got like a bit of both worlds.
Right.
Yeah.
What were some of the difficult parts of adjusting back to civilian life actually?
Oh my goodness.
Because that's not something we think about every day, for
Can
a
I
full-time
ask,
person.
Alvin, I bet the first challenge is having to decide what to wear every day, because in the Navy, they just wear the uniform.
That's true.
You see? You see?
Now you
don't
got to
have
pick
to
clothes
think so
out.
hard. Yeah.
That's stressful, man.
Good point.
I deal with that
Yeah.
stress.
Oh, I think it's alright because like I was going to poly anyway, so I kind of
Whatever's there, man.
Yeah,
just
I
put
just
it on. And
dusted it
yeah,
off.
yeah. Guys, we don't worry about that stuff.
Yeah.
What? So how else did you try and what were some of the shocking things people people with their phones walking like zombies?
Because I bet your peers were actually younger than you, are they not?
Oh my God,
Yeah,
they're
they're
10 years younger than me.
Holy
Was that odd for you? Was that difficult? And like wavelength and stuff like that?
Yeah.
I expected this going in because a lot of new people coming into the Navy, sometimes I'm going to get people coming in to be full-time NS, right? So they're also around that age,
Right.
or at least 7 years younger than me. So I'm kind of used to interacting with them. Oh, sorry. Then now it's like they're 11 years younger, and I was in their position at once. So like the only difference between me and them, I'd say it would be maturity.
Right.
I wouldn't say the age played much, but the life experiences.
Do they look to you like you're the big koko kind
They
of thing?
did. They had no idea I was at that time 28.
Actually, quite true. He looks quite
You
youthful.
very
Oh, so
Right,
they
and
thought
others on
they
Facebook
thought
Live.
you were their age.
It was also like just the start of the COVID lockdown, 2020. So like the first semester, it was all online.
Okay.
We didn't even really talk much with each other until the second semester started. Yeah.
I see.
Would that have been so? Tell us, how was it doing the course? Because obviously you had expected to go in when you signed up for it, and then when it all went online, I mean, obviously it's not easy for anyone to adjust to. How did you fare with that?
Oh, it's so much like going on an exercise, like sailing on a ship. You're just isolated.
That is an interesting way to
Yeah.
see
I like
it.
a lot
Yeah.
of the ship analogies.
It really
Yeah.
is. Like you just wake up and you follow your schedule. Like, lesson starts at 8. All right, I'm gonna attend this.
So that
lesson.
means you kind of adapted it probably quite well then.
I think I did. A lot of my friends didn't though. They
Interesting.
struggled hard that first sem. Yeah,
So it was a routine. That's why, right?
Yeah.
definitely.
I mean, you probably, gained a lot of like that discipline from being in the Navy, right? Like you said, everything's routine. You follow the routine and stuff like that. So maybe that has really helped you in this journey.
Oh, I hope so.
So you started a company now specializing in system integration projects.
Oh no, I haven't really started that company, or it was one of my plans when I wanted to pursue another career, but I didn't realize like I'd do well academically. And the moment, like, after my first year, I got quite good grades. I kind of like thought I got to see how long I can keep this going. And I managed to like keep it going until the end, and now like a lot of options have opened up for me.
Wonderful.
So I'm thinking, hey, why not get a degree now?
Cool.
Okay, so
Yeah.
that's the next step.
That's the next step, yeah.
What course did you pursue in NP?
So I just got a placing at NTU for computer science.
Okay.
So
Whoa.
I'll be going in mid-August this year.
Oh,
as my first
congratulations.
year.
Wow.
Oh, thank you, thank you.
Mid-August, so you don't have a lot of time to play, huh?
I mean, I wish it started like now.
Oh, you want to get
I
going.
want to get it going.
Yeah.
Well done.
wonderful.
Congratulations.
Yeah,
what an
thank you, thank
achievement,
you.
Alvin. You must feel so proud of yourself for that. Now you're charting different courses in your life.
I know.
Love all the sailor shipping puns that you can do. Because you started with one thing in mind, like, I want to start a business in this. And now that you've actually achieved this, you've gotten your place in NTU. What have you set your sights on?
Oh my goodness. So going into like why I chose computer science was because we had this like module first year about C programming. I didn't even know I liked this kind of thing, like IT and all that. And then like started doing it, and you just subconsciously like, oh, I think I can do it a little better.
Yeah.
And then suddenly it just became like, oh, I really got into it. And then we started learning more about Python and all that. I find myself like, trying to like one up the lecturer. Like, he didn't want us doing this. All right.
He's that student, that one.
You know who will get along with you? My husband. Say
Why?
Python and he gets very excited. Especially when you love your own challenge, you like challenging
Yeah.
yourself. That's the best kind, because there's always potential growth, and there's that growth mindset as well. I can do better, I can do more. And that's how you discover new things as well. I think a lot of great inventors are like that. That's the thought process there. That's amazing, Alvin. So did you discover this in the Navy or in Poly?
I mean, the programming part was in Poly, but in the Navy, it's, I went into it thinking, oh, this is just going to be a job. I'm going to support my family. Then I didn't really think about what vocation I wanted to go in. I just picked communication because my friends were doing it. Went into it. Oh, shock of my life. Then didn't even know I was dealing with radios. Then yeah, so like I spent like a good 7 years just like doing a lot of technical stuff, like always operating and maintaining radios. And eventually it reaches a point where you're like, how can I improve this, or how can I make my life easier?
Very cool.
Yeah.
Okay, we're just going to jump back live on air as well. Give us a sec. This riff.
You did.
Queen and David Bowie with Under Pressure here on 1FM 91.3. Good times, greatest hits. Good morning. Welcome to the Brightside. You're with Carol, Lavinia, and Shehzad. Joined in the studio this morning by our very special guest.
Yes, we have Alvin Ong, a tender age of 32, and he decided to just do a mid-career change at this age. It required him to go back to school. My goodness, such bravery. And as we speak to him, we realize the clarity. I think I'm very envious about that you know exactly what you want, and you are really pursuing this interest, this passion, this dream. It is coming to be a reality for you, Alvin. So how did you, what are some of the toughest and best parts of being a student again?
Not working.
Is the toughest or the best part?
I think
Both.
that's the best part. Yeah, there are times you miss like having a career, talking with colleagues, that kind of thing. But then when you go back to school and having gone through it once, you're like, oh man, how can I just avoid all the mistakes I made in the past? Yeah, that was my like main goal going into getting another diploma.
So you took your studies more seriously this time.
Oh, definitely, definitely.
The thought of homework right now, thinking of homework gives me palpitations.
Yeah, for some
You know?
people, the idea of going back to school, they shut it down. It's like, I'm done. I'm done with all the exams, all the assignments, and the essays. But what was the change there? It's like, how did you approach it? How did you put yourself in a positive mindset to deal with all of that?
I mean, I'm not sure for you guys, but my previous work, it was wearing me down at times. You know, there were long hours. You know, you go like attend meetings, things like that, and like maybe some like politics. But yeah, so after like you come out of all that, and you're like, oh, it's such a great break to like, you know, be
Leave that
away
behind.
leave
Life
that
is
behind.
simple again.
Yeah.
So you were 7 years in the Navy. Was it 7 years?
Eight, half, 9.
Eight
yeah.
and a half years in the Navy, and then you came out, you went to Poly, you decided to pursue computer science, and now you've got a place in NTU starting in August. And earlier on off air, we were talking about how you were actually wanting to start a company specializing in system integration projects. But now, because you're headed towards NTU, you're charting a different course altogether. So tell us about that. Like, tell us about what that feels like.
I'm incredibly excited because I'm not sure about you guys, but my family, there's no one on at least the male side that has a son or daughter in uni. So I'm like the first of my my whole family line. Yeah.
I can high five you on that, actually. I feel the same way. Yeah, I went through the same thing. No one in my family had ever, gotten their degree. And when I went, it's just this sense of accomplishment,
I know.
right?
I'm so proud of myself.
Yeah, it's like, Queen, we are the champion, my friends.
But I want to know this because you shared that story about how you went into the Navy to help support your parents, right? So when you told them, I'm going to quit my job and I'm going to go back to school, how did they respond? And how are they
good point.
responding now to you getting that place at NTU?
They knew that I did the Navy job for them, and they knew that like even in the second or third year that this probably wasn't where I would be happy at. So I think all along they knew it wasn't going to be I would be in the Navy for like the rest of my life. Yeah.
So, it's really not easy to make that change mid-career, like what you've discussed here, going from the Navy, then you've now gone into studying again, and then school. So what advice do you have for those who kind of are thinking of making that similar sort of change?
Okay, first of all, be rational. So like there are going to be times when your work gets tough and you might not be really thinking rationally. You might be emotionally like, oh, I can't take this job, I'm going to quit. You got to stop. You can't make these kind of like big decisions, being so riled up. Rationalize, wait a bit, weigh the pros and cons, ask people around you, hey, do you think this is a good idea, what I want to do? Like, go at it like you have a plan. And then after all that, everyone's not going to be like, oh, you can do this, go get it, and all that. Yeah, but it's good. You want friends like that, to like hold you back and be honest with you. And if after all this and you don't waver, you should really do it.
Wow.
Yeah, nice.
I tell you, I'm very envious about how Alvin, at his age, younger than me, but just so much clarity in how he sees life, how he sees, what he wants. Many people are envious of that kind of clarity. They want it, can't find it, maybe spend their whole life just not having that clarity.
I remember like I was in national service and I thought I should do a degree because I could go home every day, right, from camp. So I started doing a law degree and I couldn't hack it. It was hard, really hard. And I dropped out after maybe a year because like you said, I think juggling that was tough, and I didn't feel I was giving my best to the degree, and so I made a very tough decision, and I decided I also didn't like doing law, so that was a path. Then I went into media, and here I am now. but I kind of understand kind of what you had to go through in your mind. These are big decisions to make.
Yeah. Alvin, thank you so much for joining us this morning. You have been so inspiring, and I'm sure lots of people are very curious. They want to find out more about your journey as well. What's it like, going back to school at 32, going to Poly? I mean, there's a lot of humbling there as well. But good thing for you, you look quite young, huh? And then now making it into NTU to pursue computer science. We wish you nothing but the best in future. How can people stay in touch with you?
Are you on Instagram?
I'm not very active on social media, but
so sign up at NP.
Yeah.
And then go into computer science at NTU.
Yeah.
Yeah, you
This is
catch
what
him on
Alvin
campus.
looks like. Yes, he's about yay high, and
Alvin Ong. Hopefully
Yeah.
you're somewhere out there on Instagram. So Alvin, thank you so much for chatting with us this morning. We wish you all the best.
Thank you.
Good times. Great